out there. Okay, thank you for recording. It's one of the high demand tech jobs out there. And what do UI designers really do? They're like people that design how the web pages will look like. So you probably visited a site and you're like, oh my God, I like how the site looks like. I like the colors, I like the font, I like the layout. This is all what a UI designer does. So they are really concerned with the visuals, how it looks like. So if you're coming from a graphic design, you've had something to do with design in the past, I would say you should consider going into UI design because it's very visual, and there's so many opportunities. So many tech companies require UI designers because they require, they need a web app or they need a website, and the UI designer works really closely with the developer to convert all his designs into code. So that's really what UI designers do. And the average monthly salary in Nigeria, I put both salary in Nigeria and salary in US so you can more or less evaluate. I know I'm speaking to a Nigerian audience, but much more than that, if you want to work in the international market, you can have an idea of how much you're being paid monthly. So this is the monthly salary for UI designers in Nigeria and in US, and a major success metric is for a UI designer is to ensure that, when users come to your page, whatever you've designed is really delightful for them. They like the layout, you're not using harsh colors, you're not using harsh red and dark black. It's just really beautiful to see. That's like what UI designers focus on. So these are some useful resources. I'm going to be dropping the slides, so it's fine. You don't need to do anything. You can always have access to these resources. LearnUI.design is a very useful site. So there's so many resources that you can find there. It takes you step by step on how to get started as a UI designer. And there's a course on Coursera also, Introduction to UI Design. And there's a blog post that Career Foundry has done. The last resource here, Career Foundry, really documents how you can get started as a UI designer. So that's all about UI designer. The next is UX designer, that's user experience design. And just like the name sounds, is really different from UI design. If you think UI design is more visual, like you see everything that you're working on, you see the colors, but UX design is really different. They're a bit overlap, but the difference is UX designers specialize more in the flow. So if you visited a site and you're probably looking, oh, where am I supposed to click, or where am I supposed to go after this? What am I supposed to do? Maybe you're lost on a web app. That's what a UX designer is supposed to do. So the UX designer is really concerned with ensuring that when a user visits the product of a tech company, the experience is very seamless. So they do a lot of user research to see, okay, what do users want to do with my product? What will make it easy for them to interact with my product? That's what UX designer does. And in most tech companies, I would like to say, you'll probably see in small tech companies that UI and UX designer, maybe it's one person that is doing UI and UX, like it's the same person. So you probably see UI UX designer. So it's possible to see one person doing the two jobs, but in many big companies, many big tech companies, you will see that there is a different person doing the UI, there's a different person doing the UX. So they're really overlapped, but there's a thin line between what they do. So this is the average salary for the UX designer rather, in Nigeria and in the US. And this is like a success metric for them. So if you want to visualize, okay, these are the resources for UX design. And if you want to visualize the difference between what the UX designer does and what the UI designer does, this is like a good breakdown of what they do and their differences. So even though it's interconnected, they're still really different roles. So those are two key roles that are really selling hot now in the tech industry. So if you're really good at analysis and you can break things into simpler forms, I'll say you should be a UX designer. You can probably like to explore and see how it turns out for you. So product management, obviously the person that does product management is a product manager. So product manager is really concerned with ensuring that the vision of the product comes to, I say, pass. So let me break that down. For example, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with Instagram, right? When Instagram came out, Instagram is a tech company. And when it came out, it was probably just uploading pictures and just posting pictures. That was it. But Instagram has evolved. A lot of features have been added to Instagram. You have Instagram story, you have reels now, you have so many other features that Instagram does. And it's the product manager that is in charge of releasing these features. So the product is Instagram, but features that will make users enjoy the product. Can you imagine if Instagram was just pictures? It would probably not have grown, right? So the product manager is the one that is in charge of releasing all these features and also coordinates with the engineer, that's the tech person that would, the coder, or rather say the coder, the person that will code or program all of these features, and the designer, the one that would design how these features will look like for the users. So for you to be a product manager, you have to be someone that can, like I say, coordinate a lot with different groups. So if you're someone that you can liaise, you can manage different groups of people, and you can also ensure that the vision of the product for your company comes to pass. Product management is probably going to be a very suitable role because it's all encompassing. So like you can see in this picture, it covers some engineering parts, UI, UX parts, and the business part of it. So that's really what a product manager does. This is the monthly salary, 340K in Naira, 82 in dollars. And success metric is if you're a product manager and you see that customers continuously use your products, the product of the company you're working at, that is telling you that, okay, you're doing a really, really good job as a product manager. So one of these resources I'll say is really good is the cracking the PM interview. So product manager is PM. So it's a book that I've heard about that, a lot of product managers talk about that is really good. So if you're interested in going into product management, you should really look at getting the book. Product School on YouTube is also a very good resource for you. You can just go to YouTube, it's free. So just go to Product School and consume as many contents that you can on their YouTube channel. Yeah, so technical writing. This is really interesting for me because this is what I do right now. I'm a technical content manager. So let me just publish a short story on how I got my job as a technical content manager. So this time last year, I was a front-end developer. So I was doing a lot of coding and programming. But while I was on that journey, while I was on that job, I started writing blogs and articles that's not just technical related blogs. So like if there's a tech stack, I'm probably explaining it to other developers or explaining some JavaScript and all of that jargons, right? But I wrote my blog post. But down the line, I found out this opportunity to be a technical content manager. So it's like, I have these skills, I have what I can show that, okay, I've done this, I can probably qualify for this role. So that's how I go into technical writing. So what we do as technical writers, as technical content managers, we literally just convert the company's product so easy to understand to the users. So I create articles that break down different aspects of a product to users or to consumers. That's really what we do as technical writers. So if you're someone that maybe enjoys writing, or you're someone that enjoys breaking down things, like complex things to simple things for people to understand, you're someone that you can take time to, do things logically, in a logical manner, then I would say technical writing is something you should consider. And for me, one of the things that really helped me, or one of the resources that really helped me was a course by Google. It's called Google Tech Writing Course. It's for, even though they put developers, anybody really can, it's English you're speaking, so you can really understand it without necessarily being a developer. There are other resources like this YouTube channel I have is someone, she became a technical writer. So if you want to go into technical writing, you probably want to check YouTube channel for some technical writers. They share their experience. They share logically how you can get started as a technical writer as well. So the final one that we're going to go in depth into is SEO optimization specialist. No, SEO specialist. SEO means search engine optimization. So what these people do are they really just evaluate and optimize a product search engine. So to make that as simple as possible, imagine if, I don't know if we all know, maybe Carrywise or Piggyvest, all those fintech companies. So if, for example, someone searches for how can I save my money or something like that, and Piggyvest or Carrywise will probably show up on Google or on your search engine, and you see the product, you know about the product, you probably want to get to use it, and you're then their customer, right? So this is what search engine optimization does, or search engine specialists do. They literally just ensure that your product is ranking high, optimize it, ranking high on search engines, on Yahoo, on Google, on Bing, anything. They ensure that when your potential users, search for your product, they easily find it. And obviously, when you have lots of users, your money as a business or as a company increases as well. So yeah, these are all the resources for SEO specialists. So I would say some that I don't want to dwell too much on, tech marketing, people that just attract. These are other tech jobs that you can consider, but we're not going in depth on them. So tech marketing, people that will more or less attract or advertise a company's product. So if you're good at marketing and you can literally, I won't say you're not going from door to door like the traditional, marketing experts, but this one, like you're probably going to be marketing to other businesses or other customers, depending on if your company is a B2B or B2C company. So customer success, every company needs customer success specialists or people that customer support people, because every company has a product or you have customers. So you need people to be able to support your customers. And for the tech kind of jobs, it means that you need to have a good understanding of what your company does or what your tech company does for you to be able to properly service these customers. So a good understanding of tech basics if you want to go into tech customer success is important. Same thing for tech recruitment, like the name, I'm sure it's very easy to understand. These are tech recruiters, people that really hire, other people to fill technical roles, but you need to understand a basic of tech. For example, if you're a tech recruiter and they say you need to hire a front-end developer, you probably do not want to hire a back-end developer for the role of a front-end developer. So even though there's no coding involved, you also have to educate yourself on, basic technical jargon, so to say. So the project manager, you're probably wondering what the project manager, I mentioned the product manager earlier, but I would say the difference between a product manager and a project manager is, as much as the product manager says, okay, this is the feature I want to release, these are the things I want to do for my product. The project manager, on the other hand, coordinates and ensures that all of these things are, they are done on time. So the project manager is more of the one that ensures that it is carried out on time, right? That's the project manager. So tech sales is similar to marketing. Marketing and sales go hand in hand. You could probably see someone that is doing the two, but sales is more, while marketing is attracting people, sales is more like signing off to make sure that people that were attracted by marketing actually then purchase the product. So if you're being a tech sales for your company, you're more or less closing deals for your tech company. And really that's what tech sales is. So now you're done with the whole theory. So let's get you ready to start your next tech job. If you have questions, just put it in the chat and I would look at it after this. So now that we've covered, like I say, 10 different opportunities or 10 different careers, how then can you get your role? Because I want this to be as practical as possible. I would say this is a very good process. It has worked for me And I know if it has worked for me, it can definitely work for you. Probably you just need to put in the time and, like you need to be committed to, what you choose to do. So if you've decided to pursue a non-coding tech career path, you need to be very committed to that goal, because honestly, as simple or as seamless as all these career paths sound, they are also highly competitive. The same way you want to get into tech is the same way different people want to get into tech. So you have to be very strategic about everything you do if you want to get into tech. So I will just touch a bit on all of this. So the first thing is to identify. Now that we've talked about 10 different tech non-coding opportunities. So if you want to get into it, identify what do you enjoy, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. If you know that you're not really someone that is, let's say, organized or someone that can really coordinate people, then would you really succeed in a product or project management role? I'm not too sure. If you know you enjoy maybe designing graphics, probably will succeed as a UI designer. If you know you're someone that you like to break things down or write, you probably will succeed as a technical writer. So this is where you need to really identify and so search, okay, what do I want? What do I really want? And will my strengths support all of this that I want? So that is where identify comes in. Next thing is, once you've identified what you want to do, the career path you want to follow, next thing is to learn. So all the resources I've suggested, use them and don't just stop there. I always tell people, make YouTube your friend and make Google your best friend, because many questions that people ask and many things, the answer is on Google. For me, I Google every single thing. Like I Google anything. Everything is Googleable. You Google and you watch on YouTube. So go all out. Don't be mediocre in learning because you want to be the best. I believe in people being the best at what they do. So go all out to be the best. Don't be like a half-baked person. Don't just watch one YouTube video and say, okay, now I'm a UI designer, or you watch one product management video and say you're a product manager. No, it doesn't work that way. So make sure that you're learning, explore or exhaust all the YouTube videos you can watch on a particular topic. Follow channels, and when you're sure you've exhausted all these freebies, you can then go on to paid courses like Udacity, Udemy, but make sure that you watch all the YouTube videos, because I always tell people that YouTube is like a free university. Even though it's free, a lot of people feel like because YouTube is free, there's no valuable content there, but there's so many valuable content on YouTube. So learn as much as you can, read as much blogs as you can, and don't stop there, build. So wherever you want to go into your portfolio, which is like a creation of all the projects you worked on, is very important. So this is probably going to be a new path for you. So when you're learning, don't learn in private, or don't build in private. Wherever you learn, make sure that you put it out there. Let people see what you're doing. Let people see what you're doing. Let people see how much growth you've had. So if you're not on LinkedIn, I'll say, please, after this session, just go to LinkedIn and create a profile, because LinkedIn has so many opportunities there. LinkedIn is where I even got my job, really. I'll share that story in the next section. But LinkedIn is so useful. So don't build in secret. Share, no matter how small you feel like you've learned. Don't think it's so small. Keep sharing. People want to see, because it's all of this that, there's no really formal education. So it's all of this that will give people the confidence that you know what you're doing when you apply for that job. So create a portfolio. If you're going into UI, UX design, there are many resources and inspiration on Dribble, on Behance, so create a really beautiful portfolio. And then search for your job. So you've learned, you're building. So when you're building, you can start searching for jobs. So search LinkedIn for jobs. Like I said, LinkedIn has a feature that allows you to be able to set alerts for jobs. And I remember when I was looking for jobs, I set that alert and I was getting tons and tons and tons of alerts for jobs. There are so many people that are looking to employ. The only thing you need to tell them is that you're really good, or you're really as good as how you say you are. So search for jobs on LinkedIn. Glassdoor is also another good site where you can find jobs. So literally just go to all these sites and type UI designer, product manager, technical writer, jobs will come out, right? And you can then start to apply. So you have Indeed also, and you can even go to the company website. So if you're focusing, or if you're targeting to work at a particular tech company, you can go to their website. Most websites, at the footer of the website, you'll see maybe careers or hiring now and things like that. So this is also a good thing to do. You can even follow some of these companies, some of these tech companies on their social media pages, because a lot of times they may not even post it on their job site. They just say, okay, we are hiring this, and you see it and you just send in your application. So let's go to application, apply, which is the 5th step in the process of getting your job. So I always see people saying they're looking for a job, or nothing is tailored. Like, literally just send the same thing to every company. You have to have a resume that is sent to every company. And I would say this is probably a poor way to apply for a job, because as an HR person, the HR person looks at tons of resumes. And if your resume, first off, if you go to Microsoft Word and you just type your resume, it's dull. It's just like black and white paper. That's it. It's not even attractive. Like, we are in the 21st century, we are in 2021. There's so many resume builders that can make your, resume fine. Career Lift, CV Builder, just search for a resume and make sure your resume is on point. Like, you want to make sure that you're leaving a good impression. Make sure your resume is on point, and make sure that you're tailoring your cover letter to the job description. I was talking about tailoring. So don't just send generic messages. If, for example, my company is Shade Tech, right? And I'm looking for people to work as product managers or to work as SEO specialists. I do not just want you to send me maybe a resume that is saying I'm looking to work at your company. Like, in that resume, specify the name of the company. Like, let the person know that, okay, you actually went through this job description. Just don't just be saying, yes, I'm looking to work at your company. Like, what is my company, right? So make sure that your resume and your cover letter is very detailed. Let them know your process as a tech person. Let them know why you are the best person for the job. Be enthusiastic, and make sure that when you send your cover letter, there's no grammar blunder. You go through it, proofread it, make sure it's on point. Then interview step, which is the sixth step. Don't be mediocre. When I was preparing for my interview for this role I just got, I prepared like, or I would say I prepared like I was not praying, and I prayed like I wasn't preparing, because you're competing with the best of the best. A lot of people are also coming into this tech job market like you are as well. So you don't want to just be that person that is nonchalant about the interview. Your space is very noisy. You're in a noisy place. Someone is interviewing. You're saying, please keep quiet. Please, I'm having you want to be as on point as possible. Make sure that, anything that will distract you is out of the way. I remember I had privilege, my former job, I had privilege of interviewing someone, and we were interviewing him, and he was on the road, and we were like, why are you on the road? Like, are you not meant to be in a quiet environment? All of this, as little as it seems, they go a long way in setting you up for success. So it's not just, I want to be this, you have to be very strategic and, intentional about everything you do if you're coming into tech, and really anything at all. So while you're preparing for the interview, read as much about the company, get your profile or your portfolio rather to be near you, because they may refer to something that you have on your resume, on your cover letter. Make sure you don't tell lies, and find interview sites online. Practice who are you. If they ask you, tell me about yourself, don't just say my name is Shadia Agbade and you're waiting for the next question. No, have an interview is supposed to be like a conversation. So have questions also for the person, like, make them feel like you know what you're doing. As much as they're probably, I won't say they're doing you a favor, but they're employing you, you're also going to give value to the company. So make sure you come correct. That's what I'm trying to say. Make sure you come correct when you're going for the interview. And and at the end of the day, get your job. And that's like the whole process that's worked for me, and I'll keep working. That's the whole process on getting a job in the non-coding role. So that's the end of my session. And if you have any questions, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay. So nice. So the first question I have
has a question.
Yeah, I can see it. So the first question I have here is, how do you keep yourself motivated to continue learning? I have issues with being consistent in learning. What can I do to keep myself consistent in learning? That's a very, very good question. So how do I keep myself motivated to learning? I guess I look at my end goal. So my goal, I would say for me, the things I have set, that's what motivates me. So if I know that I want to be, okay, at the end, for example, when I was doing my Lambda school, that's a very great, that's like a very perfect example. I knew that at the end of this, I wanted to get a job as a developer, right? I knew I had to learn. So even though it was tough, I looked at the end goal, and that was what really motivated me. That's like the simple question, because I understand that it gets hard sometimes. You probably get discouraged on the road, especially if you're struggling. Also, have people that you're accountable to. When you're learning, don't learn in secret. Like, try to commit to something. So if probably you're learning in public and you say, okay, for today or for this week, I'm going to be doing this, like I'm doing something called chakra code tidbits for 14 days. So when you make yourself accountable in public, you'll probably not want to fall your hand, right? Or if you're accountable to a friend and you have someone that is always checking on you and saying, oh, have you done this? Have you done this? So make sure that you're looking at the end goal, and you also have things that can help you to be accountable. All of that will help you to continue your learning process. So, okay, what other question? If you have questions, probably unmute yourself and just ask. Any questions? Yes.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry, I can't put on my video right now.
No problem.
I've been listening to it, and thank you so much. This is After Bukumi, and
Okay.
I'm privileged to coordinate the community groups in Ibadan, and
Okay.
I've been living in transit for the most part. So the first thing I should say is thanks to everyone who has joined the session, and I hope you found it worthwhile. And I think the session has been quite revealing. So the question I would like to ask is, for someone who has no background in tech, I don't know if you kind of addressed it previously, but I know there may be other people who joined later, who has no background at all. What is the best approach to transiting? And person kind of has an interest and wants to transit. And then I will add a follow-on question to that. Now, the best approach to transiting, and what are the critical steps that a person can take, in the process of transition from what they do currently to then, focusing on tech, whether it's coding area or whether it's non-coding area. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for the question. I would say this is for like this 7-step process that I mentioned here earlier, this is like for those that had experience prior and for those that didn't have experience, because the very first step that I said, identify, that is where you really understand what career path you're going in for. For me, I had no experience as a developer or as a tech person, but I decided that I wanted to understand what tech writing is all about, and you go all out because tech doesn't really have a formal education, so to say. So it's left to you to really dig deep and know what career path you want to follow. So the first step is to identify and know what that career path is all about. For example, if you're going into SEO if you want to be an SEO specialist, for example, and you have no prior knowledge about it, I believe the first step is to, okay, what do these people do? What companies hire SEO people? So you have to do a lot of searching and research on your own. And then when you have a good perspective on what all of that is, you can then start learning. And I'd already given the learning curve for you. So I said, try as much as possible to exhaust everything on that topic on YouTube or on every blog post that you can read. And then you can then go on to purchase a course, maybe on Udemy, on Udacity or something that would more or less solidify that foundation that you had. And then start building. Depending on the course you're going for. A lot of resources are on those platforms, and they will help you, they'll point you in the right direction for you to build and learn. And once you start building, you can then start searching for jobs. So that's really, hello, can you hear me? So that's really the whole process for whether or not you have an experience prior. This process will help you to, launch into a tech career. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think there is a question in the chat room for you that you might want to take a look at.
Okay. So it says, thank you for this session. Would you recommend UI UX freelancing using Upwork, or is LinkedIn superior for getting freelancing jobs? Okay, that's an amazing question, because at the moment I freelance on Upwork, and I would say I've not gotten any freelance job on LinkedIn because I've not searched, right? But Upwork is where I get my clients. So I would say if you can be on the two, like, why not? You can also freelance on Upwork. Upwork has so many advantages because you already have the clients coming to you. It's not like LinkedIn where you're probably finding the clients. So clients are constantly coming on Upwork to get their jobs done, right? So it's like a ready-made market for you. If you're good and your portfolio, you have a solid profile on Upwork, you have solid portfolio on Upwork, like you can definitely find UI UX jobs on Upwork. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions? And if you'd like to ask a question, just put your hand up on the chat room, and then we will take your question. Any question at all, even if you joined late, you can still ask a question.
Yeah, you can ask a question.
I think there's a comment here. Can you help with Upward guides? I think that's an additional. Or have you addressed that already?
Okay, no, I just saw that now. Okay. So I didn't put it here before, but I have a freelancing platform. It's called, on Instagram, you can follow me, The Freelance Secrets. I'll probably type it here. So if you have Upwork questions, and I organize some sessions from time to time, so you can definitely follow me there and continue our Upwork discussions over there.
Okay. And
so let me just type it in the session, in the chat.
Yeah, if I may just add, if you don't mind, Shadi, subsequent to how, subject to how you manage things. I guess there may be some people may want to have discussions with you following this presentation. Okay. I hope it is okay to link them up with you.
Yeah, definitely. It's fine to link them up for me after this. It's fine. Thank you. So I think there's one more question.
Yes, please, yeah, you can take a look at it.
Thank you for a first-time starter in any of these techs. Thank you for a first-time starter in any of these tech jobs. Would you recommend freelancing or searching for a proper job with an organization first? Yeah, so that's a good question. So it really depends. because you're a first timer, right? I'll probably say freelancing may have a very low barrier to entry because you probably may not have so many people you've worked with in the past. It can probably be easier to convince one freelance client to hire you than to convince a whole company to hire you. So relatively speaking, freelancing may be a lot easier to enter when you're starting. But eventually, when you've worked with one or two freelancers and you then have a solid portfolio, you can then continue searching to, enter a full-time organization. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, President has acknowledged that. So, I mean, if anybody wants to have the slides or the links of any of the resources, I'm sure Samuel will be happy to. I think he also posted a message. He'll be happy to share with you. And thanks a lot, Shadi, for being so great, so gracious.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So.
Okay. So, any further questions? Any further questions? If there are no further questions, I guess I'll just hand over back to Samuel. Samuel, are you able to speak now?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Bukumi. Thank you so much, Olashade. I think everyone would agree with me that this was a very good session. I mean, very well put together and organized. So we're very grateful. Thank you to everyone who's joined on this session. I hope that we've been able to take one or two things from this session. But before we all go, I didn't plan this before now. This is just random. And I will get into, I know I will get into trouble with Shade, but we'll settle that one later. So if you're not into tech, you have no technical skills, but you really want to get into tech, and it's something that you've always wanted to do, I would like for you to send me a message, and I will work with a few of my friends and Shade, and we will see how we can help and then mentor you through a process and then help you get started. So thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's joined. Thank you to the Covenant Community Groups, Ibadan, for putting this together. Thank you to Pastor Bukumi, who basically is our Oga. He made all this possible. So I think the session is officially over. So
before you go, Sam, an idea just came to my mind. Okay, I think we need to bring Shadi back to come and talk about some other things. I just feel that there's so much we can get from.
I agree.
If Shadi won't mind, I think we can speak after. I mean, she's so passionate about about this. I think there are other areas that we can look at that people will stand to benefit, that we can bring that to. Because if anybody agrees with me there, please just put the comments in the chat box so that we know that out of the matter of 2 or 3 witnesses, the truth is established.
This is a setup.
But I'm sure that we can find a way to harness this opportunity. Thank you, Shadi. Don't worry, let's make the most of the opportunity before we start booking 4 months ahead to see you. Okay, so thanks, Shadi. So we'll come back to you on time.
Thank you, sir.
We would make it big. Sorry, my son just came into the room, so it's saying good evening. So we'll make it really big, and we would hopefully have more people join. This was put together at really short notice, and about 33 people. Okay, 32 people, excluding you and I, are on the call. And I asked myself, what if we even had more time? We probably would have got them all. So this appears to be an area of interest, how people can maximize the potentials in it. So I think we can look at some other areas and perhaps we can get you back on, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. I won't mind. It'd be an honor to come.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, then back to you.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
See you guys
Good to be
later.
here. Bye.
Thanks, Shadi. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Great session. Well done, Sam.
Thank
Well done.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.